Hey, listen, Sherry Stinson here, and we're living in the time of COVID, and I'm getting lots of calls these days about wills and planning for if you have to go to the hospital and things that you need to do. And so today I want to engage in a little myth busting with you because I think sometimes people are scared to call a lawyer's office because they just don't know what to expect. So one of the first myths that I want to bust with you today is that you have to have a lot of money to get an estate plan. And I'm here to tell you that's just not true. If you own any property at all, if you have a bank account, or even if you don't, you still need to think about what's going to happen to you if you die or if you're incapacitated. Who's going to take care of you? Who's going to take care of your family? And so sometimes people don't want to call my office because they think, I really only have my home, or I only have a car and a bank account. We still need to plan for that. So myth busted, you do not need a lot of money to have an estate plan. Myth number two, I only need a will. I get calls on this all the time. They say, but Sherry, I just want to do a will. If you come to me and I only help you think about death and I don't help you think about incapacity issues, guess what? I've done you a huge disservice, because what happens if you have to go to the hospital? Who's going to make those decisions for you if you can't? Maybe you have liver failure and you don't have that much time left, or perhaps you have terminal cancer and you become too sick to start making decisions about yourself. Or perhaps, like some of my clients, the unexpected happens and you end up as a vegetable in a hospital bed. It's so important to plan for these issues, because if you don't, guess what? The state of Florida has to get involved. And you may have people that you don't know, you've never met them, now suddenly in charge of your life and what's going on. And I tell you, after 16 years of practice, I've never met anyone who says the government makes better decisions for me than I do. Myth number three that I'm here to bust. I get this all the time. Sherry, this is too hard. It's too expensive. It's too scary. I don't want to think about it. Guess what? With the right estate planning person, the right estate planning attorney, someone like me, I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to walk you through this process. We're going to break it down so that by the time you leave my office, you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You can explain it to your friends. You can explain it to your family. And heaven forbid the catastrophic happens to you, guess what? You know that you've planned. Some people get concerned about the expense, but you have to look at the value and not the expense, because if you end up going through the probate process because you failed to plan, or having to go to guardianship court because you failed to plan, it's going to cost you anywhere between 2 and 10 times what it would have cost you had you just made that phone call. At the end of the day, this is really an act of love for your family. You're telling them, I thought enough about you to make sure that you're taken care of. And in your time of grief and when things are topsy-turvy, that you've thought about them, you've taken care of them, and you've given them a plan that you can believe in and that they can believe in. Listen, I know this is a topic that people don't want to think about. It's a little uncomfortable, maybe even a little ghoulish to think about planning your own death, or what if I get run over by a car? But at the end of the day, you really want to make sure that you give your family the ultimate act of love. And even if it's not with me, you want to make sure that you find competent estate planning counsel. Find someone who this is their passion in. I am so passionate about what I do, because at the end of the day, I get to help give you a voice. And no, everybody wants to be heard, right? Everybody wants people to know, I was here, I was important, this is my legacy, this is what I stand for. Good estate planning counsel can help you accomplish that. So here are your next steps. If you're interested in having a conversation in a way that isn't scary and isn't overwhelming, give my office a call today at 727-351-7057. Let's have a chat and find a way to help you have your voice heard.